You're behind on your mortgage, right? That phone keeps ringing and these letters keep piling up on the counter. You know, the ones that you don't even want to open anymore. And then one day you finally do, and what you find inside is an offer from the bank that says, we'll put your payments on hold. And it feels like a lifeline. For the first time in months, maybe you think to yourself, finally I can breathe. But here's what I don't want you to miss. That pause they are offering, it's not free. Now don't get me wrong, forbearance can help some people, but only if you know exactly what you're stepping into. So before you grab onto it, I want you to slow down and ask yourself a few things. Will they want all of those skipped payments back all at once? Is the foreclosure still ticking while you're on pause? And when this pause ends, what's the actual plan to continue to stay current on your payment? Because if you don't have answers to those questions, the answers will come later and they'll hit a lot harder. Here's the trap so many homeowners like you fall into all the time. When you're drowning in debt, even a tiny pause feels like rescue. No bills this month? Great. No bills next month? Even better, right? It's like coming up for air when you've been underwater for too long. But forbearance doesn't really erase a dime. It doesn't forgive your payments. It doesn't stop the debt from growing day by day. It just stacks everything up month by month. And then when the pause actually ends and the bill finally shows up, sometimes it's one giant lump sum. Sometimes it's a higher monthly payment that you can't even afford. And sometimes they dangle refinancing, but you don't even qualify. It looks like some breathing room at first, but really is just moving the weight further down the road. And depending on where you live, those rules make it even trickier. Let's take New York, for example. Some banks in New York are required to offer forbearance, but not all of them. And unless you prove that your hardship is ongoing, they don't even have to extend it. So you might think to yourself that you've bought some time, like 6 months, maybe even a year. But unless you keep providing your hardship, the bank can shut the door on you whenever they want to. And then in New Jersey, the window is even tighter. Once the bank's filed in court, you've got 30 days to request forbearance in writing, not 30 business days. Just 30 days. And if you miss that deadline, the case keeps moving with or without you. So while you're sitting there and you're thinking that you've bought yourself some time, the court clock is still ticking and the foreclosure is still moving forward. And this is what I don't want you to miss. Because while you think that things are on pause, here's what's really happening. The interest is piling up and compounding. Property taxes and insurance are still due. The late fees continue stacking. And if the bank already started legal action to foreclosure, that train hasn't stopped. It just keeps going. And by the time you realize what's happening to you, months are gone. Your equity has been spent like running water by fees. And your options that were available to you early on are slimmer and slimmer. And now, all of a sudden, you're boxed in. That's the danger of forbearance that I want you to remember. It feels like safety, but it's actually time slipping through your fingers. Now, I want to be really real with you. If you're more than 90 days behind, this is where forbearance flips on you the hardest. Because the bank may still offer it. You know why? Because it looks good for them. But realistically, they're already preparing to foreclose on your house. Forbearance doesn't stop a lawsuit at all. It doesn't even freeze your debt. And it sure as hell does not protect your equity. So yes, you get a pause, but you also dig the hole deeper while standing still in it. I've seen homeowners believe that they were safe, only to later find out that the court date was already scheduled. And by then, they were already out of any moves. At first, it feels like a break. And then all of a sudden, the questions hit. When does this end? How much will I owe? What if I can't pay it back? And you thought you had breathing room. But really, the walls are closing in faster than you can imagine. That's when you find yourself panicking, Not because you are careless, not because you don't care, only because you might be hoping and trusting something that was never built to fix a problem this deep. So is forbearance a good idea? What do you think? Drop it in the comments for me. I want to hear where you at with this. Because here's the plain truth. If you're only a month or two behind, and if you've got a plan to catch up, forbearance can buy you some time and breathing room to get your money in order. But if you're already deep in the hole, I have to be honest with you, it's not relief, it's a trap. Because the payments don't go away, the fees don't stop, and the court, they don't wait for you. Forbearance only helps if you use the pause to make moves. If you just sit and wait, it will backfire hard. I want you to picture this for a second. Let's say you've got 2 kids in the next room and they've been asking if you're moving. You've got unopened bills on the table. You've got a job loss or hours cut that you can't fix tomorrow. Forbearance comes in like a solution. But if you don't use that time to act and to figure out what happens when the pause ends, then it just sets you up for the next disaster. And that's why homeowners lose their home to foreclosure or waste all of the equity that they had in their house. Because sadly, they thought that the pause meant safety. I genuinely want to caution you on this, so let's cut through it. Forbearance is only good if you're just a little behind, you know how you'll pay it, and you use the time wisely. Otherwise, it's a trap. It delays the pain, but it makes the hit harder. And if you're already 90 days late, chances are that it's not even relief anymore. It's just a setup for foreclosure. And if you've already opened that next letter, the one that had a stamp like a list pendants on it, then the real danger, it's not forbearance anymore. It's what that paper sets in motion. And most homeowners don't see it coming at all. And it's too late. I want you to watch this video next so you can protect yourself before it's too late.